Hi, this is Michelle with Michelle's Macarons, and today I'm going to talk about how to sell wholesale. So wholesale is when you sell your product to a coffee shop or grocery store or something like that, and then they resell it to the customer. So there's a couple pros and cons to selling wholesale. The pros are that it's good, steady income coming in. You know that they're going to want to keep ordering from you, keep your product in stock. And also, you don't have to sell your product. They're selling the product for you. They're paying the overhead for the storefront, and they're dealing with all of that while you just provide it to them. So that's another good reason to sell wholesale. One of the big cons is that you have to usually lower your price because then they need to mark it up. It depends on what kind of wholesale you're doing, but usually you will lower your price. You'll have a wholesale price that you offer to people that are reselling for you, usually buying a minimum amount of whatever you're selling, and then they will mark it up to their customers. Or else they would just have an outrageous price for their customers if you weren't lowering it for them. So that's one of the cons. Another con is you don't always have kind of quality control because you're selling your product to them. You don't know how they're going to display it and if they're going to take care of it. If it has to be refrigerated, you don't know if they're going to put it in the fridge with like a salad that has a bunch of onions in it or something. So that is kind of a con and can be a problem. But if you have a good relationship with your person you're selling wholesale to, usually you can get that kind of stuff figured out. So the first thing you want to do before you start selling wholesale is make sure this is allowed in your state. So if you're baking under the cottage laws, go check out these videos and they will help you there. Okay, if you are enjoying this video and you want to see other videos like this, hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it and you'll be notified whenever I come out with a new video. Some states you're allowed to sell wholesale. Some states you're not allowed at all to sell wholesale. And then there's other states like California where you can sell wholesale, but you have to get a separate license. So that usually requires maybe an inspection or something, but some states, it's just everything's the same. If you have your cottage law license, you're allowed to sell to straight to the consumer, farmers market, pop-ups, and wholesale, but then others, not at all. So check with your state first, and you're going to want to make sure your labels are correct because most states require you really label correctly before you do wholesale. So you will package them up, put the labels on them and everything, which is a good thing because then if someone is buying the product from that coffee shop, they'll be able to see your name on it and then maybe go to your website if they want to order more. So you'll need to make sure you have a good label before you start selling wholesale. Go here for that. Okay, now, once you have that figured out, you can start to approach the places. There's a lot of different ways to this. This is not the only way. This is just kind of a good starting way. This is what you should do. You should send them an email first, get in contact with them first, and say, hey, can I drop off some samples? Tell them who you are. If you don't want to waste your time, that's a good way to do it and kind of be polite and not like bombard them. But that is also, it doesn't really give them a chance to try whatever you're selling. So if you have a product that's like, they can see it online, they can see that they don't want it and know right away, do something like that. But if you have a product like a chocolate chip cookie, they're not going to know that your chocolate chip cookies are so good unless you bring them a sample. So they'll just think, why would I want a chocolate chip cookie? I can make a chocolate chip cookie, but if yours are really, really good and you need to prove that, maybe bring the sample in first. Maybe talk to them about doing a pop-up to see how your product will work in their shop. So you could do a pop-up maybe once a month, see if you're selling a lot. You can kind of say to them, I'm selling out here every time, or whatever. And that would kind of give them a little bit of an incentive to carry your product if they see that it's selling really well. And then you can kind of not totally control how your pop-up goes, but you can bring your audience to the pop-up and they will be able to see that. So that is a great way for them to see that your product fits in at their place. If it's something you need them to try, bring in samples, introduce yourself, go at a time when you know they're not going to be busy. Like kind of stake it out. Like maybe go and get the feel of it, see when it's a slow time. Go in and talk to them and say, maybe I've got samples I'd love to bring in. Instead of asking permission to bring samples, just tell them, I have samples. It's no problem. I'd love to bring them in for you. All right, so let's see. You bring them samples, introduce yourself, and then give them a business card. Show them in the packaging. Show them what you will be able to have them sell so they can see it and kind of envision what it will look like in their store. So have it all nice and packaged, and then samples. Then give them a business card, tell them how you can be reached, once they try the samples, email you, call you, whatever. Then, leave. When you get home, I would send an email just being like, nice to meet you. Here's the information that we went over. Maybe send them a pricing sheet, and just kind of wrap up everything you talked about in your email. Send that so they have your email in case they lose your business card. Then if they don't email you back in like a week or so, I would send a follow-up email. They're probably not ignoring you. They probably just got busy and forgot. Okay, if they own a restaurant, they're probably pretty busy. So send a follow-up email and just say something like, just checking in, see if you needed any more information from me, something like that. Just so that they know that when you start selling wholesale to them, you're going to be able to provide them with the product and not just disappear. If they see that you're there and you're consistently there, that will kind of ease their mind when they think about having you as a vendor. Now, you've done all that. Okay, if they send an email back and say, maybe not now, maybe someday, that's not bad. That's still something. They might say, no, we're not interested. And they might ignore you again. I would stick to just emailing if they didn't, but it kind of depends. Like, feel it out a bit after you go in. Now, do this 50 more times. Go to 50 more restaurants, shops, bring in your samples. I'm not kidding. Go to so many places because it's going to be about you go to 20 places and one place wants to do it. So I would just 1 week just package up a bunch of baked goods and samples and put them in little gift bags and make a chart, say who you're going to. You've sent the emails. You've sent follow-up emails where you're at, your contact information for each person, things they like. Just have that all in a spreadsheet so you can keep track of everyone you've gone to, what they've said, and just take a whole week and do that. Don't give up. There was not a single shop that the first time I went in said, yeah, heck yeah, let's sell that here. I had to convince every single shop, okay, to sell my macarons. Okay, every one of them either ignored me or said no. So, and a lot of them are like still places I sell at today. So if you have a really good product and you have a really good product, be persistent. And especially if you know that your customers are going to want to buy products there. So that was the big thing with me. I knew that I had people in those areas that wanted to buy the product, that were constantly coming, like driving to me to get it. And I knew if I was able to put them in that shop, I would have customers ready to buy for them. So they just didn't know that. So if you have a social media following, kind of show them that people want your product there. And you will be bringing in customers to them looking for your product. So if it's helping them, they're going to want to have your product in their store. Don't give up. Every single shop said no. And then I just and then if they do say no, unless it's like, no, get the heck out of here, which they're not going to do probably, you could follow up even in a couple months and say, maybe you've improved something with your packaging, or you have some new flavors that you think would go well with their shop, and just say, I'm just following up and wanted to let you know that I have this and we've got some new flavors, or maybe people are requesting to have this product in your store so they can pick it up. Just kind of message them again and remind them that you're there, and eventually you'd be surprised. Maybe they will start selling your baked goods and they will be a long-time customer. So don't give up. Okay. And we go over all of this stuff, and I give you templates on what to say in the email and how to reach out and just different step-by-step things in our course called the Home Bakery Blueprint. So if you want to be a part of that, join the email list below, and I will send you information when spots for that open up. Or you can go on my Instagram, and I post as soon as they open up, I post on there. So if you want to follow me on Instagram or Facebook, I'll put the links in the description. Okay, check out these other macaron videos. Love you, bye. I said it wrong. Okay, love you, bye. I forgot the K.